but I can't be alone. Welcome to the modern way. I'm trying to be somebody I'm not, but it's not what I want. And tell me there's another way. All of the lights I chased are now faded. All the cheap thrills were only time wasted. Tell me why society's plans should define who I am. Surely there's a higher way. All of my best friends are sick of pretending. We want the truth. So much is missing, so give us the real thing. I know it's you. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 I don't want a stereotype to decide who I am. It never knew me anyway. I'm over trying to find the next high, cause the high never lasts. I'ma go another way. All of the lights I chased are now faded. Till it was right, the times they are changing. Tell me why society's plans should define who I am. Surely there's a higher way. All of my best friends are sick of pretending. We want the truth. So much is missing, so give us the real thing. I know it's you. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na na na. All of my best friends are sick of pretending. We want the truth. So much is missing, so give us the real thing. I know it's you. I know it's you. I can see the promised land. Though there's pain within the plan, there is victory in the end. Your love is my battle cry. When my fears like Jericho build the walls around my soul. When my heart is overthrown, your love is my battle cry. The anthem for all my life. Every giant will fall, the mountains will move. Every chain of the past you've broken into. Over fear, over lies, we're singing the truth. And nothing is impossible with you.
There is hope within the fight, in the wars that
search the world for meaning. I can't explain this feeling that all of our hearts are beating for something beautiful. That's right, I know it. And I found you in the searching. Yeah, you were right there with me. You gave me a brand new story. And it's something beautiful. I can breathe. Now I can breathe. Yeah. My fears released. Now I am free because of you. I want to hear you sing it. You sing it. Wow. If this is what it feels like to know you,
Hey guys, and welcome to Uprising. Is there ever a point in time in your life where you don't feel like you know what you're doing? Well, it happens to us all the time. We just have to be able to put faith and trust in God and hope that we're doing the next right thing. But you can have those small moments in life or those large events. Those small moments would be like taking a test and having no clue what the answer is. Looking at A, B, C, and D and not even getting something that matches any of those. Well, that happens a lot of the time. But then you can have those large moments in life that don't happen as much, such as not making that sports team that you tried really hard to be able to make, and you were just cut right there at the end. It's happened to me before. It was really hard to deal with at first, but a lot of my friends made the team, so I just had to be happy for them, and I was. But it was a hard decision to make. One of the movies that I've recently watched is Frozen 2. I love it so much because it has a great theme, and that's doing the right thing. And we learn this through Elsa and Anna's journey like we always do. But that theme is so important to the movie that there's a whole song about it. It's a great song. But there was a line in the movie that just stood out to me. And one of the trolls said it. It was actually the Grandpappy's troll. And he said, when one can see no future, all one can do is the next right thing. Which is crazy to think about. But at the same time, not so much. Because we have no idea what's going to happen in our future. We don't know what our next step could be. But we just have to be able to put our faith and trust in God. And then we can maybe find those right steps to take. It can be hard sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, but we just have to take those next right steps.
You stood before creation, eternity in your hands. You spoke the earth into motion, my soul out to stand. You stood before my failure, carried the cross with my shame. My sin weighed upon your shoulders, my soul now to stand. So what can I say? What can I do to offer this heart, oh God, completely to you? So I walk upon salvation, Spirit alive in me. It's life to declare your promise, my soul now to stand. So what can I say? What can I do to offer this heart, oh God, completely to you? So what can I say? What can I do to offer this heart, oh God, completely to you? So I'll stand with arms high and heart
Okay, so I want you to imagine with me for a moment that you're leaving Target, okay, and about halfway to your car, you notice there's a $20 bill on the ground. Okay, so now what is going through your brain? Like, what are you thinking about? Like, what's going through your head? Okay, maybe you just ignore it and leave it. I mean, whoever dropped it will probably come back to look for it. Or maybe you say, no. Okay, no. You should just take it, right? God gave you this special $20 blessing from heaven. Or maybe you should say, you think, I need to take this inside and give it to a manager. Like, surely someone will come back for it. Or maybe even that. Maybe you even say this, better, it's better me than someone else. Like, it's the parking lot. Like, it's not like someone dropped it by the register. If it were that big of a deal to them, they wouldn't have lost it to begin with, right? And they need to be more responsible. And if I take it back, an employee will probably just keep it, right? Anyway, no one's really gonna give cash back, right? Plus, your mom is telling you you're in a hurry and you need to get home. And so with all these options that are just bouncing around your head, okay, the main question in your mind is, what should you actually do? Like, some of you would confidently say, no, the right thing to do is take it to the manager. That's the right thing. Others of you would say, hey, take the money and run. This is not like a moral issue, right? Finders, keepers, losers, weepers. Ever heard of that one? So here's what I'm getting at, is that knowing what to do isn't always simple when you're in the moment, right? And that's what we're talking about in this series, what to do when you don't know what to do. Like, we're going to look at this dilemma today of what to do when we don't know what is right and what is wrong. What do we do? It'd be nice if doing the right thing was always clear and obvious. But we all know that really isn't the case, right? Sometimes the right thing isn't obvious, right? If you're dating somebody but you're texting someone else a lot, and you're like, well, I'm not cheating on anyone, right? We're just texting at 2 a.m. That's not wrong or right, or is it? Or if your teammate's going on and on about how the coach is a jerk because they put him on the bench, but the real reason that he's on the bench is that he really needs to work on his passing game. Is it wrong to tell him that that he needs to work on it? It would hurt his feelings for sure, but what if helping him and fixing that situation would give him more game time? Or if you have a friend who's doing something that really bothers you, and you don't know if you should really talk to him about that, approach that topic with him. You're wondering, if I comment and confront on what they're talking about, what they said, or the joke that they made, would I look like a jerk? Maybe it's my issue, not theirs. Maybe I should just get over it. Like, what's the right thing to do in these situations? Now, sometimes doing the right thing costs us something, right? Think back to the story. You say decided to return the $20 bill to the customer service desk, okay? Well, that's going to cost you something, right? Specifically, it was going to cost you $20, okay? On top of that, you have to spend time going back into the store and listening to your mom say, hurry it up, I got to get home, right? Maybe think about this. Maybe in your own life, the right thing is to be honest with your parents, but if you're honest with them, you probably will lose your phone, like maybe for the rest of your life. Like, the right thing isn't to be in that relationship anymore. But if you break up, well, then you'll be single and alone. Like, the right thing isn't to let someone cheat off your test, but if you say no, then somebody, somehow maybe you feel like this loser. Like, it costs you socially. Like, the right thing is to decline when someone offers you a drink at a party, but it seems like everyone else is drinking and having fun. So saying no will cost you, maybe it costs you a good time, or maybe a good story to tell on Monday. Like, do you see what I mean? That sometimes what's right feels complicated. And even when we do know what's right, sometimes it's difficult to actually do it. So with that in mind, let's pick back up with our story about Joseph. So for the past 2 weeks, we've been talking about Joseph, this guy who was one of the most famous people in early history, and his story is crazy. Like sold into slavery by your own brothers, wild, okay? And what we're going to look at today can be a game changer for all of us. Like it'll help us know what to do when we don't know what to do. So when we left off last week, Joseph was, well, he was sold into slavery by his brothers. We pick up this week with what happened after that. So we're told that Joseph was given to work in the house of an officer of Pharaoh. Okay, so Pharaoh was like king, emperor, president, all rolled into one. Like whatever Pharaoh said, that's what happened. Period. So you can imagine that working for one of Pharaoh's important officials was probably kind of stressful, right? Now, depending on the situation, it could either really go really well or it could go really bad. And there was no telling what situation Joseph was going to walk into. But like we mentioned last week, the author of the story that we're reading was quick to point out that God was with Joseph, and he had favor with this official that he was put with. The official's name was Potiphar. And now that means basically that Potiphar was a fan of Joseph. He really liked him. So let's pick up our story where we left off. So the Lord was with Joseph so that he prospered and he lived in the house of his Egyptian master. When his master saw that the Lord was with him and that the Lord gave him success in everything he did, Joseph found favor in his eyes and became his attendant. Potiphar put him in charge of his household, and he entrusted to his care everything he owned. From the time he put him in charge of his household and of all that he owned, the Lord blessed the household of the Egyptian because of Joseph. The blessing of the Lord was on everything Potiphar had, both in the house and in the field. So Potiphar left everything he had in Joseph's care, and then with Joseph in charge, he did not concern himself with anything except the food he ate. So things weren't so bad for Joseph now, right? Because Potiphar trusted him. And things weren't bad for Potiphar because Joseph was in charge, right? Like he was thriving. He was doing great. But then things took a little bit of a weird turn, okay? So let's keep reading. Now Joseph was well built and handsome. And after a while, his master's wife took notice of Joseph and said, "Come to bed with me." Now, I don't know if she said it like that, but maybe it's something different. I won't try to interpret, but this tells us two things, though. One, apparently Joseph wasn't a bad-looking dude, okay? He was kind of a hunk. And the second thing is that his boss's wife, well, she noticed that he was kind of cute. Now, this was where things got complicated, as you can imagine, because Joseph was a servant. He was required to obey not only Potiphar, but also Potiphar's wife. And if he refused her commands, there was nothing holding her back from punishing him. So he could be kicked out of their household, which, again, this is a great place for him to be, or he could even be killed. It could cost him his life. But if he did what she asked, right, that would create a whole other set of problems. She was married to his boss. Like, both options came with problems. And it wasn't easy or clear what Joseph should do. So what did Joseph do then? What what did he do when he didn't know what to do? All right, so listen to what the next part of our story says. But he refused. And this is what Joseph said. He said, "With me in charge," he told her, "my master does not concern himself with anything in the house. Everything he owns, he has entrusted to me, to my care. No one is greater in this house than I am. My master has withheld nothing from me except you, because you are his wife. How then could I do such a wicked thing and sin against God?" And though she spoke to Joseph day after day, he refused to go to bed with her, for even to even be with her. So basically out of respect for Potiphar and out of a bigger respect for God, for Joseph's faith, Joseph simply did the next right thing. Joseph didn't make a decision based on how things might turn out for him, like losing his job or even his life. He made a decision based on what was right. What was the right thing in that moment? And the right thing in that moment was turning down Potiphar's wife. So this is complicated for sure. It was challenging to do this, but it was the right thing to do. So it wasn't exactly like his life was perfect as a result of making this right choice. In fact, things got worse. Potiphar's wife falsely accused Joseph of rape. Potiphar believed his wife and then had Joseph thrown into prison. So not exactly the happy ending you're hoping for when, you do the right thing. But Joseph didn't make his decision based on what it would mean for him. Now, he did what was right with God and trusted God with the outcome. And the outcome for Joseph in this situation wasn't great. There's a word I want you to know that changes everything when it comes to doing the right kind of doing what's right dilemma. And that word is integrity. Maybe you've heard that word before. Integrity means that being the kind of person who does what's right regardless of the outcome. Regardless of who's around, you do the right thing. So sometimes doing the right thing will get you an applause. Sometimes it won't. Sometimes doing the right thing will cost you something. And sometimes it won't. Sometimes doing the right thing will make you look good, right? But sometimes doing the right thing will make you look stupid. Yeah, we don't get to decide how things will turn out, but we do get to decide what kind of person we want to be. And being a person of integrity will lead to a life with less regret, more respect, and a better idea of what to do in every situation. So chances are we'll never find ourselves in the kind of situation that Joseph was in, but we will find ourselves in all kinds of situations where we will have to decide what to do without knowing how it will all play out. It could go better than we thought, or it could go worse. But when we make our decisions with integrity based on what is right, we're living our lives. We are living lives that we can be proud of. So here's one thing we can remember. Remember this is that when you don't know what to do the next right thing. So try this. First, think of one situation where you know the right thing to do, but you're afraid to do it. What are you afraid of? Like, if fear wasn't a factor for you, what would you do? And the second thing is determine what kind of person you want to be. I'm not talking 5 years from now or what kind of person you want to be next week. I'm talking about who you want to be today, like right in this moment. What do you need to do today that will set you up to be the kind of person who respects themselves and can be proud of their decisions? Not because they're easy decisions, but because they're the right decisions. So here's the deal. Most of us know the right thing to do in most situations. We just do. Thank you to your parents. But fear keeps us from acting how we know we should. More than that, fear and inaction keep us from becoming who we want to be right now. And that's why learning to live with integrity, living in a way on the outside that matches what you believe on the inside, that's the most direct route to being who you want to be. But that doesn't always make it easy to do. So the next two steps here are created for you as taking this final step of what you need to do. First is this: tell somebody the next right thing you're going to do. Tell someone. And the second thing is invite them to pray for you and then ask you next week if you did it. That's how we live lives of integrity, knowing the next right thing and then doing the next right thing and inviting someone to come alongside us and keep us accountable. Doing the next right thing doesn't have to be a lonely venture. Invite someone into your story. There is strength that shows up when you allow someone to show up with you. Now, I encourage you to lean on your small group. That's why we had those. We all need a group of people who will help us figure out the right thing in complicated situations. Like, that's why the conversations you have in your group are often more important than anything that we say on a screen or from a stage, because in those conversations, those are specific to you and to your life. So as we kind of close up tonight, I want you to think about a situation where you need to do the next right thing. Like, think about exactly what you need to do, okay? But just know that you don't have to do this alone. You can tap into the help of God and the help of us, of others. So when you don't know what to do the next right thing.
I was buried beneath my shame. Who could carry that kind of weight? It was my tomb till I met you. I was breathing but not alive. All my failures I tried to hide. It was my tomb till I met you. You called my name, and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness, into your glorious day. You called my name, and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day. Now your mercy has saved my soul. Now your freedom is all that I know. The old made new, Jesus, when I met you, you called my name, and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness to your glorious day. You called my name, and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day. I needed rescue, my sin was heavy, but chains break at the weight of your glory. I needed shelter, I was an orphan, now you call me a citizen of heaven. When I was broken, you were my healing, now your love is the air that I'm breathing. I have a future, my eyes are open, 'cause when you called my name, I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness to your glorious day. called my name. I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness, into your glorious day.
Hey guys, I really love this story because it helps us see how no matter what we're given, God's always there for us as long as we use His guidance to do the right thing. If you don't mind, I'm going to lead us in prayer. God, thank you for letting us come together today on this great Sunday night and listen to Uprising. I hope that we're able to use your guidance in our lives as we go along, and that we have a great week until we're able to come together again next Sunday. In your name we pray, amen. Hope to see you guys again next Sunday. Love you, and I'll see you there.
I was lost with a broken heart. You picked me up, now I'm set apart. From the ash I am born again, forever safe in the Savior's hands. You are more than my words could say. I follow you, Lord, for all my days. Fix my eyes, follow in your ways. Forever free in unending grace. 'Cause you are my freedom. We lift you higher, lift you higher. Your love never ending. Oh, oh, oh. You are alive in us. Nothing can take your place. You are all we need. Your love has set us free. Oh, oh, oh. In the midst of the darkest night, let your love be the shining light, breaking chains that were holding me. You sent your son down and set me free. Everything of this world will fade. I'm pressing on till I see your face.